Reporting to you live from Austin, Texas. Keep Austin weird. Microdose before work. Legalize it, brother. Parking my Tesla on the supercharger. I'm from Austin, bro. Today we're actually talking about Houston and not Austin. We're talking about if the Houston Rockets are going to be real contenders for the title with Kevin Durant. Like and subscribe to my channel. I think Houston's going to be very good this upcoming season, of course. Just right off the bat, I wouldn't put him ahead OKC or Denver. OKC title defenders, of course. They won the championship. I think everyone has them as the number one team going into next season, unless you're just an OKC hater or you're not realistic about who the best team in basketball is. I'm a Spurs fan, but I can recognize that the Thunder are the best team in basketball, and they deserve to be ranked number one in the power rankings going into next season. As for Denver, they went ahead and picked up Cam Johnson, so switched out Michael Porter Jr. for Cam Johnson. I love Michael Porter Jr., but he had the bum shoulder, so his shoulder's all messed up. Could barely pick up his arm during their series against OKC last year, and they still took OKC to 7 games and had a good chance to possibly beat the Thunder. So plug Cam Johnson in for Michael Porter Jr. I think will give Denver a boost up there, get them a bit better, of course. Switching out Porter Jr. Not to hate on Porter Jr., just his shoulder was so bum he couldn't play the game he really wanted to play. And then Aaron Gordon had the messed up hamstring in that series against the Thunder as well last season. So if they're going into a series against the Thunder and Denver's healthy, I'd give Denver a solid chance to possibly beat OKC and a solid chance to beat Houston as well. But getting back to the Rockets, it's no secret the big change that happened with Houston over the offseason was picking up Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant goes ahead and signs with the Houston Rockets. So looks like their starting lineup is going to be Fred VanVleet at the point guard, probably have Reed Shepherd at their shooting guard, Amen Thompson at the small forward. KD will probably be at the power forward, and then Alfred Şengün at the center. I'm sure they'll switch up a bunch of different stuff. They have Jabari Smith they can bring in off the bench. They can bring in Tari Eason. They can do all sorts of different lineups. Switching up, bringing out Amen Thompson, bringing out Kevin Durant. They can go small. They can go with a pretty big lineup, having Şengün in there and having KD at the power forward. Gives them some versatility they didn't have because Kevin Durant's, of course, a great scorer, one of the best scorers in NBA history, but what he provides for Houston defensively is going to make them even better of a defensive team with the versatility he has. He's a really good weak side defender, can come over and get some shot blocks and kind of help out Alfred Şengün because he's not some crazy shot blocker or rim protector. He's a decent one-on-one post defender. He has good strength and pretty good hands. He can get some steals and things like that. Strip the ball on the way up from some of these bigger centers and power forwards, but he's not some lockdown post defender or some great rim protector. So KD will be able to help him out from that front. So I'm excited to see that. We already know what KD's about. He's going to be able to score off the isolation. You can run him as the screen man and pick and roll, pick and pop. You can use him as the ball handler. You can use him all sorts of different ways with how versatile KD is. But what I'm really excited to see is KD playing off the ball, playing off of Alfred Şengün. It's going to be fun to see when Şengün gets the ball at the top of the key and just gives KD a dribble handoff and rolls off of the handoff. Or even when he sets the screen on the dribble handoff and KD just pulls up for wide open shots from the mid-range. Şengün can create a lot of stuff for himself in the post as well, and Şengün has great court vision. So when they have Şengün in there isolated, he'll be able to see the court, very, very good at doing that, and swing the ball around, get KD open looks, get the rest of his team open looks as well. And just from the gravity of having Kevin Durant out there, it's going to make everyone else's life easier and give them open shots. I was talking about it earlier. When KD's popping on these screens, when he's rolling off these screen and rolls, he's going to attract so much attention. People have to come and help. When KD's rolling, somebody has to come out and pick him up when he pops. There's going to be all sorts of breakdowns from other teams defensively, miscommunications, and things like that that's just going to make the Houston Rockets' life easier. One thing people love to talk about with Houston from last year is that they were the number 2 seed, and it's true, they were the number 2 seed. They had a really good season, and people just say, Houston's the number 2 seed last season. They add Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's going to make the team better, which I'm sure he will. So with them having Kevin Durant, number 2 seed plus Kevin Durant, Houston's going to be better. I agree they're going to be a better team, but people love to go to that number 2 seed argument so much, and I honestly don't like that number 2 seed argument because say Houston loses, honestly, if they lost 2 to 3 more games last season and Memphis, some of these other lower seeded teams win another game here and there, Houston could have easily been the number 8 seed if they had lost, again, 2 or 3 more games. So everything is just so close and condensed in the West that, again, yes, Houston was the number 2 seed, so I give him credit for being the number 2 seed. I'm not taking anything away from the Rockets for getting that seed, but, again, people act like being the number 2 seed means they're so much better than the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 seed, but it was a gap of like 2, 3, 4 losses, and Houston could have easily been in the number 7, number 8 seed, or just a way lower seed than they were in. So that number 2 seed argument doesn't mean they're that much more talented than all of these other teams. It just means, they won the right games at the right time. These other teams lost some games down the stretch, and Houston ended up locking in at the number 2 seed. But with that being said, I wouldn't be surprised to see them at the number 2 or number 3 seed again going into this next season by the time the playoffs are starting, because them adding Kevin Durant, like I was saying again, it's going to make them a much, much better team. The thing Houston lacked last season in the playoffs, everyone could see it. Their defense is very good, elite level defense, but when things were breaking down, they had nobody to pass the ball to and just isolate, try to get them a bucket when they need to get a bucket. Amen Thompson tried to do his best. Van Fleet, he can only do so much. He's not super old now, but he's getting up there in age. He can't really isolate and make plays for himself. Alfred Şengün is probably, at least last season, was probably one of their best options. Him along with Reed Shepherd were two of their best options. They can kind of just create their own shot off the dribble for Reed Shepherd, in the post for Alfred Şengün. But if you have Reed Shepherd and Şengün, not an insult to those players, but if those are your two best shot creators on your team, you should definitely be shopping for a Kevin Durant type of player. And now Houston got their Kevin Durant, so when games are breaking down, getting into crunch time, when it's the last 2 or 3 minutes of the game, and you need somebody to pass the ball to and let that guy isolate and get a shot for himself, you have one of the best guys in NBA history at doing it in Kevin Durant on your team now. So I'm excited to see how the Rockets are going to look with KD. I anticipate them finishing, I'd say, in the number 3 seed, to be honest. I still see OKC finishing ahead of them. I don't think anybody would really argue with that. And then I see Denver probably finishing ahead of them again, just with them having Jokic, adding Cam Johnson onto the team, still having Jamal Murray. I just see Denver as a more talented team offensively. When you have Jokic as your offensive engine, I just believe in Jokic to take Denver farther than Kevin Durant can take the Houston Rockets. The last thing we'll get into is Kevin Durant as a leader. I'm not going to get into some big hate session about Kevin Durant or some spiel on KD as a leader, but when he's in OKC, he did lead his team to the finals in 2012. They did end up losing to the Heat, so as much as people like to hate on KD as a leader, I do it myself. He left to Golden State. I thought it was the weakest move in NBA history, and I'll still stand on that, but there's plenty of guys, Carmelo Anthony, Tracy McGrady. We can go down the list. There's other guys that don't come to my head immediately, but all sorts of superstar style players, superstar scorers, and Kevin Durant's just so good as a scorer that we don't really recognize these other areas of his game. His rebounding, his playmaking, his defense especially gets really overlooked. Just so great as a scorer. We don't so much appreciate him as an all-around player. And again, like I said, in 2012, he at least brought his team to the finals. There's all these other players we consider superstars. Again, Tracy McGrady, Carmelo Anthony, the list can kind of go on. And those types of players never got their team to an NBA Finals. And Kevin Durant gets way more hate than those players. And I feel like we should at least give him more credit for getting OKC to the finals that one year. And I understand we kind of washed that away just because he left and went to Golden State. So, Kevin Durant needs to understand himself why people hate on him for that weak ass move. But moving on though, as we were talking about Kevin Durant as a leader, except for the OKC run back then in 2012, we haven't seen him be the leader of a team and take that team to the finals. He went and won those championships with Golden State, but he just kind of hopped aboard a ready-made situation and just turned them into some superpower of a team. But we'll kind of see what Kevin Durant can do as a leader in Houston. I honestly don't know if he's going to be the leader, if Şengün's the leader, if Amen Thompson's the leader. KD is definitely going to be the best talent, the best offensively talented player on the team, and he's going to get the ball in those crunch time situations. So kind of just like what happened in Golden State, he's naturally going to turn into the leader, or at least the crunch time guy that's taking those shots. But KD's even said himself, it's a quote, he said, "I don't want to be a leader, I just want to go out there and hoop." He basically said he's not trying to lead a team and have to worry about all this extracurricular being a leader of men type stuff that just comes with being an NBA superstar. He said he just wants to go out there and hoop. So, I mean, if you're a fan of Houston, you got to think, who's going to be our leader? I would guess Amen Thompson, Alfred Şengün, one of those guys, and then just let Kevin Durant, do what he loves to do and just go out there and get buckets. But I think Houston's going to be a very good team. To be honest, I don't see them beating Denver in a playoff series. I don't see them beating OKC in a playoff series. I would give them a chance against Denver. I would give them no chance against OKC, just to be fair. But I'd favor the Nuggets. I'd favor the Thunder in a playoff series against Houston coming into next year. But I'd give them a chance against all the other teams to win those series. And like I said, I'd give them a chance against the Nuggets, but I would favor the Nuggets in a playoff series against the Rockets going into next year. But please like and subscribe, comment below, let me know what you think about Houston, and we'll see y'all next time.